Family called my lifestyle selfish. I'm selfish with my time because I finally learned my worth fast. My mother says it like she's presenting evidence in court. So you just schedule yourself? Her fork is halfway to her mouth, frozen, and the entire table goes quiet like someone killed the music. My sister, Nadia, does this little laugh through her nose and looks at my dad like, "Can you believe this?" My dad's jaw works like he's chewing on something tough. Across from me, my aunt's eyes flick to the side. She's already calculating how to turn this into a story she can tell at church. And I'm sitting there with my napkin in my lap, my stomach tight, because I can feel exactly where this is going, and I know they're all going to make it sound like I'm the one who changed the rules of the universe. I set my glass down carefully because my hand is shaking and I don't want it to rattle. Yes, I say, keeping my voice even. I schedule myself. My mom blinks like I just confessed to a crime. I schedule my gym. I schedule my errands. I schedule work. I schedule time to rest. Nadia leans forward, elbows on the table, like she's about to deliver a monologue. "That is the most selfish thing I've ever heard," she says loudly, so the couple at the next table glances over. My cheeks burn. My dad finally speaks. "You used to just help," he says, like help is something you're born owing. And something in me, something that has been trying to stay calm for weeks, just goes still. Not rage exactly, more like a door clicking shut. I look at them one by one. My mother's disappointed face. Nadia's smugness. My dad's tired irritation. Like my existence is an inconvenience he can't quite place. I hear myself say, "I used to help until there was nothing left of me. Now I'm helping myself." The words land, and for a second it's silent. Then my mother exhales like I've insulted her personally. "There it is," she says, pointing with her fork. "That lifestyle. That me-first thing. Selfish." It was a Wednesday night, about 9 months ago, when I realized help in our family didn't mean kindness. It meant control. It meant access. It meant I was the default solution to everyone else's poor planning and emotional chaos. I didn't have this dramatic epiphany in a therapy office with soft lighting. I had on my kitchen floor in sweatpants with my back against the cabinet because I'd gotten home from work and my phone wouldn't stop ringing and I couldn't breathe properly. I'm 34. I live alone now. I have a good job that pays decently. Not by yacht money, but pay rent without panic money. I used to be the type of person who answered every call, replied instantly, showed up with soup and cash and rides and babysitting and emotional triage. If someone needed a form filled out, I did it. If someone needed a vent at 11 p.m., I picked up. If someone needed a quick favor, I rearranged my day like it was nothing. I told myself I was just a good daughter, a good sister, a good aunt. And my family encouraged that story because it made their lives easier. The night I ended up on the kitchen floor, it started as 3 small things. My dad called me at 4:45 while I was still at work and said, "I need you to pick up your mother's prescription. No asking. Just a statement." I said I couldn't because I had a meeting and then traffic and the pharmacy would close. He sighed, heavy, and said, "So what are we supposed to do?" As if 2 grown adults were helpless without me. I called the pharmacy, arranged delivery, solved it. Then Nadia texted me at 6:10. "Can you take the kid Saturday? Please. Emergency." I didn't even ask what the emergency was because I already knew it would be something vague and dramatic. I said I had plans. She replied with a single word, "Wow." Then my mom called at 7:30 while I was driving and said, "Your aunt is upset you didn't come to her thing." I asked what thing. She said the thing on Sunday. I said, "I didn't know there was a thing." She said, "We told you." They hadn't. They never did. They assumed I'd just know, like I'm supposed to live inside their calendar. I got home, put my keys down, and my phone rang again. "Dad." I didn't answer. It rang again. I didn't answer. Then Nadia called. Then my mom. Then a group chat message popped up. "Since you don't want to be part of this family anymore," my throat closed. My chest tightened. My vision tunneled. I slid down my cabinet and sat on the floor because my legs wouldn't hold me. I remember staring at a crumb near the baseboard and thinking, this is so stupid. It's just crumbs. Why am I focusing on crumbs? I remember trying to inhale and feeling like my lungs were stuck. When it finally passed, I sat there with my forehead against my knees, and I felt this wave of shame first, because I was raised to believe having needs is embarrassing. Then, after the shame, anger. Not the explosive kind, the slow kind that feels like waking up. The next day, I booked a therapy appointment. Not because I thought therapy would turn me into some fearless boundary warrior overnight, but because I needed someone outside the family echo chamber to tell me whether I was losing my mind. In my first session, I did what I always do. I minimized. I laughed at my own exhaustion. I said, they just rely on me. The therapist asked very gently, and what happens if you don't do it? I shrugged. They get upset. She tilted her head. Upset how? And I had to say it out loud. They guilt me. They call me selfish. They tell everyone I'm difficult. They imply I'm ungrateful. They punish me with silence or drama until I cave. She said, so the help isn't optional. It's expected. I stared at her like she'd pointed out something that had been obvious the whole time. Because it was. Over the next few weeks, the therapist gave me a concept that sounded ridiculous at first. Time boundaries. Like money boundaries, but with hours and energy. She asked me to treat my time like a budget. You wouldn't hand over your debit card every time someone asked, she said. Why do you hand over your day? I wanted to argue. I wanted to explain that family is different. That family is supposed to be there. But I kept thinking about the kitchen floor, about my chest tightening from a group chat, about how my family's love always came with an invoice. So I tried it. I started small because I'm not a superhero. I didn't suddenly become someone who says no without guilt. I started by not answering immediately. I let a call ring out and wait 10 minutes, then call back if I had the capacity. I started telling people I can't do that today, but I can do this other thing. I started scheduling time for myself like it was an appointment with someone important, because apparently I needed to trick my brain into treating myself like I mattered. The first time I told Nadia no to babysitting, my hands were sweating so badly my phone slipped. She texted me on a Friday afternoon. Can you take the kids tonight? I have plans. I said, no, I can't tonight. She replied, it's literally just a few hours. I said, no, she wrote, you're unbelievable. Then she didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, over childcare, she could have arranged if she didn't assume my life was a free service. That silence was supposed to break me. Instead, it felt quiet, like someone turned off a fan that had been rattling in my head for years. My parents weren't as direct as Nadia, but they were worse in a slow, guilt-soaked way. They'd call and say things like, we don't hear from you anymore, or you've changed, or my mom's favorite. You used to be so sweet. Sweet to her meant pliable. Sweet meant I didn't have edges. Then came the selfish lifestyle comments. It started at a family barbecue. I'd arrived later than usual because I'd gone to the gym. I wasn't trying to make a statement. I just went. I showed up in leggings with my hair in a messy bun, feeling healthier than I'd felt in months. My aunt looked me up and down and said, must be nice to have time for yourself. Nadia laughed and said, she schedules herself now. My mom joined in, smiling too hard. She has her little routines, she said, like she was describing a toddler's obsession with dinosaurs. I tried to laugh it off, but inside I felt that old familiar tightening. That pressure to explain myself, justify myself, prove I wasn't a bad person. I didn't though. I just said, yeah, I'm trying to take care of my health. My dad muttered, health, like it was a trendy hobby. Then, later, when my mom asked me to drive her to a friend's house across town, because my dad doesn't like driving at night, and I said I couldn't because I had plans, she looked genuinely offended. Plans? She repeated. With who? And when I said, just plans, she said, so you're choosing yourself over your mother. It sounds dramatic when I type it, but that's exactly how she said it. Like I was doing something morally wrong by not being on call. The truth is I didn't even have big, exciting plans. Sometimes my plan was to read a book and go to bed early. Sometimes my plan was to take a long shower without my phone vibrating. Sometimes my plan was to sit on my couch and eat dinner that I didn't have to share but justify. My family treated those things as frivolous because they couldn't use them. If my plan didn't serve them, it didn't count. The shift really accelerated when I stopped doing the administrative things for my parents. That's the stuff no one sees, but everyone depends on: booking appointments, sorting insurance paperwork, calling tradespeople, managing bills when something got confusing. I've been doing it since I was in my early 20s because my parents would act helpless until I stepped in. My dad has always had this proud, stubborn thing where he refuses to admit he needs help, but he'll happily let me do everything while acting like it's no big deal. "You're just better at that stuff?" he'd say, like it was a compliment. It wasn't. It was a trap. One day my mom called and said the internet was out. She asked me to come over. I said, "Have you called the provider?" She said, "No, that's why I'm calling you." I said, "You can call them." She got quiet. Then she said, very cold, "So you're not coming?" I said, "No." She hung up. A day later, my dad texted, "Your mother's upset." I replied, "She can be upset." He didn't answer for a week. That was when I realized they weren't upset because they missed me. They were upset because they missed what I did. And now, sitting at this restaurant with them, I can see the pattern so clearly it's almost embarrassing that I didn't see it sooner. We're having dinner because my mom insisted it was important. She made it sound like a heart-to-heart, like maybe they noticed I was stressed and wanted to reconnect. I should have known better, but there's still a part of me, some stubborn little kid part, that wants my family to be normal. We sit down, we order, we do the surface-level updates. My dad complains about gas prices. My mom talks about someone's surgery. Nadia talks about Nadia. Then, inevitably, my mom brings up Christmas. "So you're hosting this year," she says, not asking. Everyone expects it. I used to host. Not because I loved it, but because if I didn't, it would fall apart. My mom would make vague plans and forget ingredients. Nadia would show up late with nothing and complain. My dad would sit and criticize the food. I'd spend days cleaning, cooking, organizing, buying extra chairs, making sure everyone had gifts, making it nice. Then I'd collapse after they left, surrounded by dishes and leftover guilt. So when my mom says, "Everyone expects it," something in me lifts its head and says no. I take a breath and say, "I'm not hosting this year." My mom's eyes widen. "What do you mean you're not hosting?" "I mean, I already booked a trip," I say. "I'm going away." Nadia snorts. "Of course you are." My dad frowns. "A trip? During Christmas?" "Yes," I say, and my voice surprises me with how calm it is. "I'm going to a resort. I want quiet." My mom's mouth tightens. "So you're leaving your family?" "I'm choosing to spend my holiday resting." I say, "I've hosted every year for 7 years." My mom leans forward, voice lowering like she's trying to sound reasonable. "But family is about sacrifice." I can't help it. I laugh once, short and sharp, because the irony is almost painful. It has been, I say, for me. Mostly. That's why she does the fork-pointing thing. That's why Nadia calls me selfish. That's why my dad says I used to help. Like help is my job. Like I'm a tool that's malfunctioning. And that's when I say, I used to help until there was nothing left of me. Now I'm helping myself. My mother's face hardens. "You're acting like we abused you." I didn't say that. I reply, but my heart is pounding now because this is the part where they twisted into me being dramatic. Nadia rolls her eyes. "Here we go. Therapy talk." My dad says, "You're making everything into a big deal." And I can feel the old version of me. The explainer trying to come forward. The part that wants to list every babysitting night, every emergency drive, every time I paid for something without being paid back, every time I swallow my feelings to keep the peace. That part wants to prove I deserve boundaries. But another part of me is tired. I'm tired of turning my pain into a PowerPoint presentation for people who benefit from misunderstanding me. So I don't over-explain. I just say, I'm allowed to say no. My mom scoffs. "You're allowed, sure. But it says a lot about you." There it is. The moral judgment. The threat. Comply, or we will make you the villain. Something in me steadies even more. "Okay," I say. "If you think taking care of myself says a lot about me, that's fine." Nadia's eyes narrow. "So you're just going to abandon us?" "I'm not abandoning anyone," I say. "You're adults. You can host Christmas. You can plan. You can share the work." My dad shakes his head. "You're being dramatic." I look at him. I had a panic attack on my kitchen floor 9 months ago because I couldn't keep up with the demands you all put on me. I say quietly. The table goes still again. My mom's face flickers, something like discomfort, but she recovers fast. Everyone gets dressed, she says. That doesn't mean you get to check out. I'm not checking out, I say. I'm checking in. With myself. Nadia laughs. Listen to you. And I realize that's what scares them. Not that I'm selfish. That I'm not flinching. My mom tries a different tactic. So what? You think you're better than us now? I stare at her for a second. It's such a familiar accusation. If I'm not below them, I must think I'm above them. There's no concept of equal. I don't think I'm better, I say. I think I matter. My dad opens his mouth like he wants to argue, but he doesn't have a clean counterpoint. Because saying, you don't matter, out loud would sound insane, even though that's how they've treated me for years. They've treated my time like it's disposable, like it's theirs if they want it. My mom's eyes get shiny, not with sadness, with outrage. We raised you, she says. We did everything for you. And there it is, the debt ledger. The idea that parenting is a loan that must be repaid with obedience. I feel my throat tighten, but I keep my voice steady. You raised me, I say. You were supposed to. That doesn't mean you get unlimited access to my adulthood. Nadia mutters, unbelievable. My dad pushes his chair back slightly. So this is who you are now, he says. Cold. Cold. Because I won't set myself on fire to keep them warm. I sit there for a second, listening to the blood rush in my ears. The restaurant noise feels far away. In my head, I see all the times I said yes when I meant no. All the times I drove across town because my dad didn't want to. All the weekends I gave up because Nadia needed me. All the holidays, I worked like an unpaid event planner while everyone else arrived and criticized. I remember sitting in my car after one Christmas, hands sore from washing dishes, crying quietly because no one even said thank you. I remember Nadia telling her kids, right in front of me, Annie will do it. She always does, like I was a guarantee, not a person. And I think, I can't go back. Even if I wanted to, I can't unsee it. So I stand up. I don't slam my chair. I don't throw a tantrum. I just stand. My mom looks up at me, shocked, like I'm not allowed to end the conversation. Where are you going? She demands. I'm leaving, I say. My dad's voice goes sharp. Sit down. The old me would have. The old me would have apologized and smoothed it over. The old me would have paid the bill and driven everyone home and cried later. My hands are trembling, but I keep my posture steady. No, I say. Nadia scoffs. So dramatic. I look at her. You can call it whatever you want, I say. But I'm done being punished for having a life. My mom's face tightens. So, you're really going to do this? Walk out on your family. I breathe in slow. You're not my whole life, I say. And I'm not your servant. That lands like a grenade. My mom's mouth opens. My dad's face flushes. Nadia looks delighted, like she can't wait to text someone. I pick up my bag and I walk out. In the car, my hands shake so badly, I have to sit for a minute before I can drive. My phone buzzes immediately. Nadia, of course. I don't open it. Then my mom calls. I let it ring. Then a group chat message pops up. Wow. Can't believe you do that to your own parents. Another message. You're really showing your true colors. Another. Don't bother coming around if you're going to act like this. 9 months ago, that would have sent me into a spiral. I would have responded with a long explanation, paragraphs of apologies and logic and pleas for understanding. I would have tried to convince them I was still good. Instead, I feel something else. Not joy, not triumph, relief. A quiet kind of relief that sits in my chest like space. When I get home, I make myself tea. I sit on my couch. The apartment is quiet. My cat hops up beside me like he's checking my mood. I scratch behind his ears and stare at the wall for a while. The guilt comes in waves, because guilt is a trained reflex. But beneath it is this steady awareness. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't scream. I didn't insult them. I didn't attack. I just stopped complying. The next day, my mom shows up at my door without warning. That's another thing they do, show up like boundaries are theoretical. I look through the peephole and my stomach tightens. She's standing there with her arms crossed, already angry. I don't open the door right away. I take a breath first. Then I open it just a crack. Isai. She tries to push it wider with her hand. I hold it. We need to talk, she says. We can talk, I reply. But you can't come in right now. Her eyes narrow. You're really doing this, she says, voice dripping with disdain. You're really acting like you're too good. I feel that familiar urge to defend myself. I don't. I'm not too good, I say. I'm just not available. She scoffs. Not available for your own mother. I keep my voice calm. Not available for an argument on my doorstep. She leans closer. So you're going to punish us because you had some little episode? I feel my stomach drop. The cruelty is so casual. Like my panic attack is a weird inconvenience she's tired of acknowledging. I swallow and say, I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting myself. She laughs. From what? Us. I don't answer the bait. I say, if you want a relationship with me, you need to respect my time. That means asking. That means not guilt-tripping. That means not calling me selfish because I have boundaries. My mom stares at me like I've started speaking a different language. Then she says, very softly, who put this in your head? There it is again, the assumption that I can't have my own thoughts. That if I disagree with them, someone must be controlling me. Therapy, friends, the internet, anyone but me. No one put it in my head. I say, I lived it. She opens her mouth, closes it, then snaps, fine. Live your selfish little life. She turns to leave, then spins back. Don't come crying to us when you need something. And I almost laugh, because the irony is vicious. I've never been the one needing something. I've been the something. After she leaves, I close the door and lean my forehead against it for a second. My chest hurts. Not because I doubt myself. Because it's sad. It's sad that my family's love is so conditional. It's sad that the version of me they prefer is the version that's exhausted and apologizing. That weekend, I stick to my schedule. Not rigidly, not obsessively, just intentionally. Saturday morning, gym. Saturday afternoon, grocery shopping. Saturday evening, movie and early bed. Sunday, laundry, meal prep, long walk, then nothing. Nothing used to terrify me because nothing meant I wasn't useful. Now, nothing feels like oxygen. Nadia tries again on Sunday evening. She calls twice, then texts, I need you to take the kids tomorrow after school. I stare at it. My stomach does the little guilt flip. Then I think about the restaurant, about my mom's fork, about the way they talk to me when they want something, about how Nadia's need is always urgent when it benefits her. I type, I can't. I hope you find someone. She replies instantly, you're so selfish. I stare at the word. It used to feel like a verdict. Now it feels like a label they slap on anything they can't control. I put my phone down and continue folding laundry. A week later, my dad calls. His voice is stiff, like he's calling a customer service line. Your mother's upset, he says. I know, I reply. He sighs. You could have handled that better. What would better look like? I ask. Silence. Because better means complied. Better means made it easy. He clears his throat. We're family, he says. We're supposed to be there for each other. I agree. I say. So be there for me by respecting me. Another pause. He says, you're really not hosting Christmas? No, I say. I'm not. He huffs like I've inconvenienced him personally. Your mother already told people you would. She shouldn't have, I say. She was counting on it. I feel irritation rise. She counts on me because she assumes I'll do it. I say. That's the problem. My dad's tone shifts, sharper. You've gotten hard. I almost correct him. I almost say I'm not hard. I'm just tired. But then I realize, to them, softness equals access. Softness equals surrender. I don't want to be that kind of soft anymore. I've gotten healthier, I say. Hard is what you call it when you can't get your way. He exhales. So you really think you're worth more than this family? I close my eyes because that sentence is so manipulative it almost makes me laugh. I think I'm worth peace, I say. And I can love you without letting you run my life. He doesn't have a response. He ends the call shortly after, saying he has to go. I don't know what happens long term. Maybe my family adjusts. Maybe they don't. Maybe they keep painting me as selfish to anyone who will listen. I can't control that. What I can control is whether I keep proving my worth through exhaustion. The thing they don't understand is that my selfish lifestyle isn't glamorous. It's not me sipping cocktails while they struggle. It's me protecting my nervous system. It's me not answering the phone when I'm at the gym because my body deserves movement without interruption. It's me going to bed at 10 because sleep is medicine. It's me planning my week so I'm not constantly reacting to other people's emergencies. It's me saying no so I don't end up on my kitchen floor again. It's me learning fast that love without respect is just obligation with a prettier name. And yes, I'm selfish with my time now, because for years, everyone else treated my time like it was free. I'm not free anymore. I'm not on call. I'm not the family's emergency contact for feelings, money, childcare, logistics, or guilt. I'm just a person. A person who matters enough to schedule herself. A person who matters enough to rest. A person who matters enough to stop auditioning for love that only shows up when I'm useful.